Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and those who have yet to make up their minds. I am your host, Jack.com, coming to you live with my homegirl, Miss July Angel.
Oh, thank you. Well, the pleasure is all mine. So,
Now,
for you.
for those of you guys who are listening, we're just going to jump right into this. I'm not going to do any house cleaning. There is a lot that we've already talked about that I want to give out. So let's get right into this. Now, when I met you,
Yes.
I met you as July.
Right. Yeah. July.
Each other on the Instagram,
Yes.
and you became, in my mind, Miss July Angel.
Thank
So when
you.
I talk about you, I said, "Did you see what July Angel posted, girl? Did you see? Did you go?" And then, of
Uh-uh.
course, Noni, get queer, he beats me to it every time.
Oh, love it.
I see your Instagrams. It always says "get queer" and so many others like this. I'm like, how does she always win me? But
Oh,
let's talk about when we first, because I was with Get Queer when we
yeah.
first met you. Remember that?
But when we first met,
When we first met.
yes, we were at the garden. And how beautiful is this? We were at the beautiful garden in Balboa Park. My favorite spot, really, of the whole park, really. It's that has like roses during like spring, summer, it has like roses and all these beautiful flowers. And so I took my sister for just like a day for us. So I have a younger sister who's 18. She's my best friend. Her name is Sophia Garcia. I'm sure you can find her somewhere on my Instagram too. She's very beautiful, and so we just kind of went just to take pictures and just have a day for us. And like I remember I was being so vanidosa, so vanidatious, and, and I don't know, I was like taking pictures, like trying to feel myself, which I think is healthy, once in a while for all of us. And so, yeah. And I saw you like cheering me on, and that was just so sweet. And I love making new friends, more connections. And so I don't know, I just, something out of me was like, we got to get connected. I
Well,
loved your vibe. Hmm.
I remember watching you and me and Noni, we were talking, and when we talk, he'll talk to me, but I'm looking around me. And then I'll see things around me, and then I'll be like, look at that little girl. She is serving it. I want to say something. He's like, no, don't. I want to say something to her. No, don't embarrass me. Stop it. And I'm like,
Oh,
girl, you work it, mama. Yeah.
yes.
Right? And you were already working it. You were already
Oh,
working it, but you knew there were people watching you. And
I
so what I felt like once I started cheering you on, you were like, yes, exactly. Yes, okay, I'm seen now. Yes, mother has seen me. You know,
mhm,
your vibe definitely
when enhanced.
that day, right?
Thank you. Yes, I'm so grateful, and I don't want to make it up. I don't want to go too much into this, too much unless you want to. But at the time when you met me, it was like 2019, I think, summer of 2019. I still hadn't started my hormones, so I right now I'm 7 months into my hormones to transition. I am transitioning, and so I think back then, your words really moved me because I needed that praise
Mm.
to feel, I guess, like beautiful, valued. And it's such a wonderful thing because you saw something in me that I wanted to see in me. And so and now I feel like I can't wait to see you guys in person soon, when we can, because it's like I said earlier, like we've come full circle in the sense that um, I am now more of who I wanted to be in that moment.
What we've all seen.
Right. Yes.
Because even though you weren't on your hormones yet, we I this is just me, how I feel. I feel
Yeah.
like I don't see the gender or the color, I see the soul.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so because I see the soul, it doesn't matter what the outside looks like.
Right.
Focused on what the inner thing looks like and how can we expand that? How can that radiate
Yes.
through you? And it definitely did.
It did.
And it
Yeah.
definitely does, Miss Angel. It
Thank you.
definitely does. Do you want to talk a little bit about, well, why don't we talk about growing up?
Perfect. Yes.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
growing up. What was growing up like for you as an individual?
Okay. Perfect. Sorry, my little sister just came in. Yes. So growing up as an individual, I was born and raised in San Diego, in Chula Vista. And so this is South Bay, San Diego. And give me just 1 second. Let me see what she needs.
Dile mamá que vengas para comer.
Ahorita, I wait. You're a little chisme. You want me to go have dinner, but I already have dinner. No, you want to cut this out.
For those who are listening,
That's Fernie, my little sister Fernie. She's so cute. So
we do not shut off the podcast just because our family members come in. We are actually living beings. Family is
Fernie.
Go ahead, girl.
But yeah, I'll go have some food later. I'm not that hungry right now. I'm more excited for this podcast. But and plus I ate earlier. But so growing up, I was born and raised in South Bay, San Diego. By the way, just before I kind of go into it, this is really important. I just want to say thank you so much for letting me have this space. And I think the main purpose that I really want to have this conversation is that if there's anybody else that feels like me, I want them to know that there's more of them and that they can count on me and that we belong.
We're
That
here and
we're here and we belong. Yeah.
We're all here with each other. Yes, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have each other. So I am Mexican. That has a big part into my identity to say, because there's machismo and in Mexican culture, even though you're born in America, it's still very present. And so if a boy shows signs of femininity, it's looked down upon and made fun of early on. But I knew that I always identified as a girl. And because I remember being 4 years old, or even earlier than that, probably like something like 3.5, but watching The Little Mermaid. And oh my gosh, I would put towels on my head, red ones. I would like try to swim like her. I would try to talk like her. I would look at her and idolize her so much. I would cry when I would see the Barbies at the stores of her, and I couldn't have them. And for some reason, of course now you know why, because it just wasn't looked upon as positive. But my mother did something very wonderful when I turned 4. She made me an underwater party, but she put a Little Mermaid candle on the cake, and she brought in like a Little Mermaid party person, like a lady that dressed up as her. And I was so happy. I remember being so happy, and it was like the best day of my life. And I remember also wanting a Prince Eric. So I was like, I wanted the whole movie. I wanted to be her the whole way. And so I think that for me now that I think about it, is like, wow, what a better way to really know that I wanted to be, I guess, a girl, because the story of Ariel is about transitioning from one way of a mermaid into a woman. So that's just, there's so many crazy connections that
But don't just do it for no man.
No, yeah, no, exactly. I mean, now that I think about it, yeah. But at the time I was like, I just like how she moves. I like how she is. I like her, you know, how she was adventurous, that she was spunky, that she had her man too. But you know, that she was brave enough to you know, do all those things that she did. But the real story, it's not that I guess in a way empowering. Probably a more empowering princess is like Mulan and Pocahontas. But I mean, when you're 4,
there's a more empowering princess who's like, listen, bitch.
Yeah, the ones that will, you know, kick ass. And so I admire all the princesses. They all have such a beautiful quality to them. But so I think, and then growing up, you don't really understand gender, but you start to understand what makes people laugh at you and what doesn't.
Right.
And so I feel like by the time I reached like age 7, 8, I knew like what not to do, what not to say. But it was so hard because talking like a girl always came out, and like moving like one came out naturally. So it was a tough childhood. I had some cousins, some girl cousins, some, you know, friends that were girls growing up through school that would always defend me, and I'm so thankful for them. But you know, it's like they can't be with you all the time. And so of course there's always like stares and looks. And so all the way through my teenage years, it also didn't help that my family was really religious. But there's a thing between, I have believed so much in God, but there's a thing between like faith, spirituality, love, and then religion. I feel like they can be separate things, and people in religions can also be hurtful to people that are not, I guess, right, that don't check the boxes that
walk in the same walk as them.
Right, exactly. And some of these people are powerful in the communities, especially in Mexican communities or just Hispanic communities. You know, they're very powerful churches and all that.
Yeah.
And so my mother was like a Sunday school teacher kind of. And so it was like I was always in church growing up, and it was so hard to be feminine through that time, through my childhood, youth, teenage years. And finally, when I reached 18 and I graduated from high school, my parents divorced. But it was quite a shocker for the church community too. And it kind of gave me the space to be like, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for me to actually like take a step back from everything and just kind of do my thing now, see who I really am, who is my identity. And eventually we all just stopped going to church, and everyone kind of went their separate ways. I kind of took the role of taking care of my sister, who was like 10 at the time. But I started to work like odd jobs and then go to school. I went to SDSU, and then I transferred to the Art Institute. So it was messy. My life was a little messy from 18 to 20 something. But I met really incredible people. By the time I was like 22, I started to go out in Hillcrest, and that was fun. That was like an eye-opener. And for a long time, I thought I was just like a femme guy, like a very feminine man.
That makes sense.
But inside of me, I wasn't always like, the makeup and the hair and the clothes weren't enough at the end of the day. And so I was always contemplating transitioning. I would like obsess over like watching transgender like videos about people talking about your transition like 10 years ago when I was like 15. I would obsess over it because I was like, this is like, this happens, like people, because I remember like drag queens when I was younger, because there's a part of my family in Mexico that is very open-minded, and they love drag queens. And so I always thought, I was like, oh, you know, those are men that dress up like women for shows. And so I don't know, it just didn't connect.
I like what you said earlier. You said wearing makeup and girls' clothes just wasn't enough for me.
Right.
Because for me, that's enough. Putting the
Okay.
lights on, that is enough for me. Getting my nails, that's enough for me. I have
Okay.
no desire to transition. But I can't speak for someone who does have a desire to transition. That's why you're here. Right?
Right.
When did
Yeah.
you, when did you finally say, okay, I'm going to go through with this? What was going on in your head then?
It was a little bit after when I saw you guys, when I saw you beautiful souls. I was contemplating in my mind for about, I saw you guys in 2019. So I've been about like late 2018 to last year, early 2020. It was like back and forth. I would try to get info and then I would back away because there is risk in hormonizing yourself. There's risk if your body, your body's going to change inside, and so you can develop. I mean, you're essentially developing. If you're going from man to woman, you're developing breasts. And in my family, there's been history of breast, cancer too. And so there's all these ideas, there's all these thoughts that come to your head. And also my mom, she suffered from thyroid complications before, where she could have got cancer in her thyroid. So there was all these ideas and things that were coming to my head.
It wasn't just a thing that you said, you know what, I'm going to do this one day. I'm going to be a woman now. There was a lot that you had to take into consideration to be who you are.
So much. It was a lifelong journey. I really, sometimes I wish I would have done it 10 years ago when I was 15, because I had that that sensation at that time to be like, to finally break free from feeling locked in the boy life, because that's what I was kind of trying to pass. And I would deny that I was like gay growing up, because when kids ask you like, are you gay, and like, because it feels bad, it's shameful, that's what it feels like in the moment when everyone's crowding you, you deny it, and so you don't even try to express it. I applaud those kids that were fierce and fabulous all through high school and didn't give a rat's butt about nothing, because it is a tough world. I think like early 2000s to late 2000s were tough. But now I see now, like, the generations now are a bit more acceptable, which is wonderful.
They're more inclusive.
Yes, but I feel like our childhood was tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. So I finally reached a breaking point when it's because I would like obsess, like around age 23. Like I would look online, like, is it too late to transition at age 23? Is it too late to transition? Like every year that I would pass by, I would like try to look at the science behind all of it and the health concerns. But like, disclaimer, you can transition at any time. Okay. Just look at Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay.
And yes, like, but everyone and anyone can do it at any time. But I think I was just kind of like, my mind was just going everywhere. And also going to Hillcrest, going out to the bars, the clubs, going out to dance, you meet all kinds of people, and you meet trans people too.
Hillcrest, for those of you guys who are listening, Hillcrest is our gay area here in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's like the nightlife. There's also day life too, like restaurants and all kinds of cute things. I miss it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go back. But
you were going to Hillcrest as that younger child, being effeminate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Not a child, 22-year-old.
22.
Young 20s.
Young 20s. And I met several trans women there. And it was cool. But they were also like, it's a journey, take your time, really think about it. Everything changes. And it does. And so I reached a breaking point last year when COVID started. I was just like we all were like the world's ending.
Right.
You know, we all kind of came to that conclusion, but the world is going on. It's still going, which is great. But I was like, I want to get out of this pandemic. Just me. Like, I have to do this because also when you start the transition process, you have to talk to a psychologist before. There's several sessions you have to do with therapy, with psychological therapy, and then they give you the green light to go talk to the doctor. And so I spoke to my therapist, and I think like the highlight of that session, we talked about, like, I'm talking to you right now, my childhood, you know, all the things that happen in one's life that can affect you. But the most critical point of that session was, are you happy with how you're aging, basically, as a man? Are you okay with it? And I said no, I couldn't. I just couldn't do it anymore. Because men and women age differently, and it's just how it is. It's just natural. It's the hormones in the body. And so I couldn't do it, you know? And so the great thing about being transgender is that it's really made me focus on my health too. Before, I really wasn't, to be honest. I, you know, would eat whatever I want, would just go, you know, splurge sometimes, like just go out and like drink and then like live the vida loca. Because as men, we burn calories quicker and, you know, and all that great stuff. But the body changes when you transition. I've had actually several health like scares starting my hormones. About like month 4, I had like twice in 2 months. I had kind of like kidney stuff happening that I needed to change my diet quickly or else I was going to get bad. So I don't really drink as often anymore. I eat cleaner now, and that all has to do with how the hormones are changing my insides.
But most definitely, it's a whole lifestyle change.
Oh yeah,
It's a whole lifestyle change.
360, like 360, and
For the becoming, which Michelle Obama talks about, right? The becoming of who we are. We're constantly expanding. The becoming says there are things I used to do as a child, like eat monsters and Twinkies all damn day. But I was an adult.
Yeah.
Something, that constant change.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And you just learn so much about being being a transgender person. It's a once in a lifetime really opportunity, and it's not everyone goes through it, but we are all beautiful transgender, whoever, if you're, you know, non-gender binary, lesbian, gay, bisexual, however you identify. Each journey is unique, but it's definitely like very unique, my journey. And I know I have some similarities with other trans people out there. And so you learn so much, you gain so much knowledge. And it's so nice when you get to share this knowledge with someone who's considering it, who's thinking about it, because it's a very powerful decision and it takes a lot of work. Yeah.
Work. It's
Yeah.
work.
It's work.
The whole becoming, I mean, for a person who's not transitioning, it's work.
Mm-hmm.
For a person who does have to transition, and when I say transition, I'm not just saying from male to female, female to male. I mean the whole transition of where you're at now to where you know the next phase of the journey or that next level of the journey actually is. It's a difficult becoming. Not difficult. It takes work.
Yes.
It takes it.
Work.
And the work is, would you agree that the work, it, it's, it pays off?
Oh yeah, it pays off. It At the end of the day, this is something, my transition, that I can control, that it's mine.
Mhm.
It's nobody else's. It's not, it's my treasure. It's my work, the fruit of my work.
Right.
Because every 2 weeks, you gotta, go get your shots. You gotta take your blockers every day. You gotta watch your health. You gotta get your screenings done. And you got to think about surgeries. You got to see if you want to save up money. But it starts in the inside. It's how you take care of the inside. Mentally too, everything changes too. The first month was tough. I was, upset all the time. I was, angry all the time, like the first month, really. And then you have to like work on balancing your moods, and that it's like a second puberty, really, and that's kind of what it feels like. And
I was just going to say that it's almost as if you're going through puberty all over again.
yeah,
Having
yeah,
things, having those, I hate the world and hate my mama, those kind of
yeah,
things.
exactly, yeah. And but it pays off. The fruits pay off because, depending if you have, health insurance or not, you have to figure out a way, to get a hold of these, uh, medicines and all that. And so you have to sometimes work for that.
You have to look for it. I love that you say that, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think
No.
this is important to tell people because we live in a country where we have to pay for our stuff.
Yes.
But a country like Canada, they pay for all of the procedures, all of
Right.
the, and then there's also that too. Do I want to do I want to move to a country that's going to pay for it? Or am I okay with working a little bit extra to really get the surgeries, like you say, that you not necessarily have to undergo? It would be
Right.
having that Adam's apple chiseled down if you would like it.
Right.
Knowing that every gay boy in the bar is saying if she has an apple, she has a banana, that bullshit. It's funny to us, but it still sticks with you.
Yeah.
It sticks with you when for somebody who doesn't want to have a banana. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what's
You don't have
perfect. Interrupt me whenever you want. No, really, because that was great. that was just like perfect. No, please do. You have such beautiful words always to say that sometimes I don't think about, but it does come to mind. And it's like, oh, like that country, they get treated better than us. It's going to be interesting to see how this country works in the next couple of years and how they treat the LGBTQ, folks that live here. I hope, the best is yet to come, but yeah,
Well,
like we're also different.
we for so long as a community, we were not of the norm.
Right.
And now what we're noticing is I'm not going to say everybody, but lots of straight men are dressing gay these days. Lots of women, biological women, are wearing so much makeup on their face, they look like drag queens. And I'm not going to, well, I'm going to say it. They hated on us so long and they pushed us out that now they want to be us. And we're, as a community, are so inclusive that we're allowing them to come be one of us rather than doing what they did to us, saying, you're never going to be one of us. We'll always be better than you because we're straight and you're gay, or because you're queer.
Right.
Trans. And what I love about our community is that We fill in the LGBTQRS elemental P, all the letters of the community, and then some, because we're that inclusive.
Yes.
No matter how crazy it may sound that you identify as whatever you want to identify as, we're going to accept you because we know what it feels like to be not accepted, to not be accepted.
No, yeah, of course.
Because growing up, were you always accepted from you talked about it earlier, you had a watch. Were you accepted from your peers growing up?
Really, truthfully, I felt like I had to act differently. I wasn't myself. So I acted in ways to try to be accepted.
So they could accept.
Right. So I could be accepted as a kid. Yeah. So I wasn't really ever myself. I think I hid myself for so long. And the friends that I made, the peers that I made along the way through my life since age 5 to 19 or however old I was till high school, I really only talked to 1 or 2 people out of all the hundreds of kids you meet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about now? What is your circle like now, your peers?
COVID hasn't been very helpful. Right. It's there's some friends you see at the bar, there's some friends you see, at the cafe or whatever. And so, and even at work, everything changed. I think my circle now is very, very intimate. It's my sister, some family members, some friends that I have, contact with from before through social media. I haven't really gone and hung out with people since COVID started. I'm currently living with my mom and my sisters. And so I'm just trying not to really, see lots of people because I don't want my mom. I don't want to be the cause of anything yet. But I have, you now, which is great. Yes. But I'm hopeful that when the vaccine comes and the world opens up again, hopefully it does soon, that I can go back out there and reconnect with old friends that I really want to see in person, that I really feel I really haven't, seen in person. But my circle of friends really is very varied. It's people I've met in Hillcrest, people I've met at jobs, like in Chula Vista or however, or people from school. So it's I think very, very, but I also want to make new friends, I want to join things like clubs or I don't know, makeup classes and stuff. So we'll see how that goes.
Some makeup looks together, Miss July Angel.
Yes.
The next time we get together, we'll do some looks on here for the people.
Yes, we should. I can't wait. That'd be so exciting because I've kind of done some makeup looks, but I want to get more professional, I guess, with it and better at it. To also, if any of my friends need any support with makeup, I'm here, girl.
Well, on that note, let's go really quick to commercial break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Perfect.
Hey, all you podcast listeners, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to go purchase your Just Jack Chap at justjack.com with 2 S's, because one just ain't enough. We also have lots of stuff for business owners and lots of free stuff for you guys to check out. So please go and visit, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our page and sign up for our newsletter. We don't always send out emails, but when we do, you just might want to open them. Now let's get back to the show.
Cool. Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, Jacob.
Okay. It's the one thing about living with family is like, I don't know if you've seen like the videos of like Kim Kardashian where she's like telling her daughter like, not right now, North, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Like she's so cute, my little sister. She's 6. And then I have my I have a boyfriend right now, which is really sweet. But he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, give me time.
Wanted to say, hey, I'm doing a podcast with my friend.
Yes, I'm gonna.
Because we're on commercial break right now, anyways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut all this out.
Perfect.
Send your text.
Thank you. I hope it's okay how I've been talking though. It's my first podcast ever.
Talk about that right now. Send your text message. I'm gonna get a little bit more tequila.
Perfect. Let me see how he's doing.
Mi amor, ya voy aquí con mi sobrino, ya voy a comprar Mi amor, mi reina, ya fui. Mi mamá me va a inyectar ahorita penicilina para el dolor y ya también compré para la infección, y ya también compré una pasilla para el dolor y el polvito ese.
Let me send them a thing. A little audio. Amor, okay, que viene. I'm like stuttering now because I'm like nervous. Mi amor, ahorita te marco que mi tesoro es que voy a hablar con mi mamá, pero que bueno que ya estás con tu mamá también y que ya te van a inyectar, okay, my love? I love you so much, my love. Por favor, amor, que te curen, please. He has dogs and they bit his hand. They were fighting and he was trying to stop it and they bit his hand. It's gross. So his family went to go take him to get like a shot and okay.
All right, so how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I feel really great. This is really nice. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
You're fine. You're fine. Okay, so sometimes you'll see me, I'm gonna mute my. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll mute my mic because I have to cough or something.
Okay.
But if you're talking too much, I'll like this to you. Okay, which means like slow it down a little bit because I still need to ask you more questions because I'll ask you a question and then you'll go off into this and then you're like, oh wait, the story gets bigger and then bigger and bigger, which that's why I haven't stopped you because I feel like everything you say, I want you to understand that you're not just jibber jabbering.
Okay.
You're not just going off on a tangent. You're speaking from your heart, you're speaking your truth, and that is coming off as very genuine and authentic. And that's what the whole podcast is about.
Okay.
Being genuine and authentic and doing everything. Okay?
Perfect.
So I'm going to keep on going. I do want to talk to you a little bit more about being queer in the community.
Queer, yeah.
And also what that looks like, as well as being a transgender person in the queer community.
Yeah, perfect.
Like
I love that. Give me 1 second. ¿Qué pasó, Fer? Es que yo estoy hablando con mi amigo. Ocupo que me des tiempo. She's so nosy.
Hola.
She has like so much glitter on her face. Okay. ¿Me das poquito tiempo? ¿Sí? Okay. Bye. Let me close the door. Okay. Okay.
Because perfect. I asked the question, if it's okay, I do want to ask the question, what does transgender versus being a woman mean to you?
Yes, perfect. I love it. Yes, those are very, I think, those are pivotal questions.
Okay. Yeah. And is there anything you want to promote while we're on here?
I wanted to promote the Trevor Project.
Okay.
Just for any youth out there that feel like maybe they.
So let's do that now. So
yeah. Let me just Yeah, let me just get the information real quick. Let me see if I have it. Okay, there's also, never mind. I'm not going to say the Trevor Project. I'm going to say it's called the LGBTQ Youth Hotline that they can call and get any info.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go. And we're back with my homegirl, July Angel. Now, is there anything you want to shamelessly plug here for anything you want to promote? Go ahead and do that now.
Yes, I really would. I want to give out a phone number of the LGBTQ Youth Hotline that is promoted along in many websites like the Trevor Project and it's just a youth hotline that you can call. You can get any answers, or you could have any questions, and they can redirect you if you feel like depressed or you need someone to talk to. And it's 1-866-488-7386. And so even if you're not, you don't feel like you're young, please call.
Yes.
They have resources.
They have many, many, many great resources for young and, as I call us, more mature, with my saggy skin. Just kidding.
No. You don't look a day over 21, girl. Come on.
Thank you. Watch Botox. Just kidding.
Okay, the secret.
Let's get right back into this. Now, we were talking earlier about transgender life and transitioning. What does queer versus transgender versus woman mean to you specifically, Miss July Angel?
Okay. For me, I needed the word. Well, not the word, yes, the word, but also the identity of queer growing up. I needed that because in a way I wasn't, I guess, brave enough to say that I was transgender, and not brave enough to even say that I feel like I was a woman. So for me, queer is an umbrella term, really, to kind of give us all that space. Like if we don't want to use the word, this is me personally, if I don't want to use the word trans or gay or bi, I can say I'm queer. Also, the word queer has had negative connotations through history, but it's also powerful to stand up, live your truth, and say, yes, I'm queer, and you don't need any more explanation than that, And so I did use that term queer in the past previously, when I was younger, and I would go to like youth group seminars and stuff like that, and they would be like, please, identify what you feel like. And sometimes I would just say queer, and people would come up and ask what that meant, and I would just, say that I just felt, different, and that's okay. Yeah. And so that's kind of what it means.
Queer.
Yeah. Queer, I feel like it's a big term. It could mean lots of things, and it's something you can use for yourself, for your own benefit, really. If you don't want to categorize yourself into anything specific.
You can be straight and be queer.
Yeah.
Like a cisgender girl who likes boys and still be queer. It's that big of a term.
It's huge.
Very inclusive. Once again, that inclusivity, right? That queer people have.
The power, that word. Yeah.
So go on, you were saying.
I'm sorry. You're so sweet. And then being transgender for me is who I am, really. Because in a way, and then to some people's eyes, I'll never be a woman. And that's fine. I'm not here because in a way, I wasn't born genetically as a woman. I know that's what I feel like inside, but I am transgender, and I'll live, I'll live and die as a transgender woman, and that's fine because that does set me apart from the norm too, and that's okay. Sorry. Yeah, and then being a woman means, I mean, it is what I feel. And that's what I've always wanted to be. But I think a woman also is a very broad, it's kind of a broad term. I know, you know, not everyone will agree with me, but I feel like being a woman essentially is, I guess, feeling like one, really. Yeah. There is all kinds of people in the world, and I am a transgender woman, but I do feel like a woman and I feel queer. So I am all those three terms in one. I'm really happy you asked about those three words, because I am all those three words, really.
Which,
yeah,
you're those three words and so much more.
Oh yeah. I'm a sibling. I'm a behavior interventionist at work. I'm a partner to a really sweet guy,
Yeah.
I'm
And so much more than my sexuality or
Yes.
my gender.
Yes.
So much more. And for those of you guys who are listening to the podcast, just want to know what's going on in the background, please forgive us. We have family. We have people coming in and out. You know, we're all in quarantine right now. Take the meat, leave the bone. Okay?
I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry. Be fierce, honey. Don't be sorry.
I was just telling you earlier during our commercial break, like I kind of feel like Kim K, where she's like, North, please give me 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes, North.
I like when Kim K was like during the beginning of quarantine, she's like, make time for your friends. Check in with your friends. And then Northwest in the background, make time for your kids.
Yeah.
You should be talking to your children or something like that.
They're so cute. They're so funny. Kids are so real, though. They speak their mind.
Out of the mouths of babes. Out of the mouths of babes. What?
Yes.
Now you talked about a behavior interventionist.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you do for work?
Yes. Yeah. I love my work. I'm very thankful that I got to where I am. And even though I went to an art school, I don't know. I like the universe works in very beautiful, funny ways. I can't really find an art job after work. It's hard. And I still would like one at some point. But I'm really, really happy where I am. I work with children who have developmental disabilities or autism, and I work with their families. And right now it's mainly through Zoom. These children range from ages, 1 to 10, and according to their psychological assessments, there's certain goals that must be met by a certain time. It can be simple as like sharing, eye contact, learning, numbers, colors, and we do it all through activities. It's so funny because during high school, even though I was really shy and kind of kept to myself, I was president of the Best Buddies Club. And that Best Buddies was our organization at school that we would get students from campus to, we would give them a certain best friend, like assign them a friend who had a disability, be it, intellectual or physical. And it was the nicest, sweetest thing that I witnessed through my youth, seeing like football kids coming in and like, I mean, they wouldn't really hang out with me. The point was for them to hang out with the kids. But, sometimes I would see like the cute football guys come in and be like, but I would just stay quiet and be like, okay, here's, so-and-so, connect. But it was so cute. Yeah, it was during my senior year.
So you've always been really more inclusion.
Of course, yeah.
inclusive. The word I'm looking for, inclusion.
Inclusion, yes.
Or-
And these are special therapies. I wish all kids got these therapies because they work on essential like human behavior, really, that kind of preps them for the real world. Not all kids know how to share. Not all kids know how to take turns. Not all kids know how to wait, be patient, ask for things. So
Right.
it's really nice and neat.
Yeah, I mean, even you have my godson who's a smart kid,
Of course.
intelligent. But we're walking in the parking lot and his head is down on the ground. I said, pick your head up.
Yes.
Okay, Nino. And then little by little, his head goes down on the ground. I said, how do you know where you're going? Like, what's in front of you? What's around you? They're so focused on the cell phones in their hand. The head is just down, never coming up. They're never looking in the sky.
Aw.
You know? And that's where the magic happens in the stars. What about your work do you love the most these days? What's your favorite part?
I love these days seeing magic happen through the Zoom, even because a lot of the families I work with is through Zoom. I see like 2 kids at their homes because not all families are comfortable with people going in their homes. But just seeing the magic happen through digital, through tech, and it grounds me. It just reminds me about what's really important in life, and it's those little milestones about a kid saying a 3-word phrase that the parents didn't think he was gonna, speak, or a little girl that is imitating when the dad was afraid that she wouldn't really do much. And so for me, it's like just seeing it live happening in real time is amazing, and being a part of that, and also getting the support from the supervisors that supervise us sometimes. It's really nice, and it motivates me to try to get better at what I do. And this job really kind of saved my life before I got this job early January last year. So before, I used to work tons of retail. I did like a YMCA job during college, but I would do tons of retail too. And so, yeah, you meet lots of people, and it's fun and all, and there's clothes and all that. But I think a job like this, I needed something that would ground me, since I don't really I'm not a very spiritual person, and I don't really read as much as I used to. So I need something that humbles me down and grounds me.
I love how you said earlier the little things that are so fundamental. I feel like if we don't have children who are on the spectrum, or we don't have children going through these things, we sometimes forget to recognize the little monumental things, even as adults.
Yes.
Forget as adults to, I think it's important to give yourself those Boy awards, the pat on the backs, the victory, the celebrating the small victories.
Yes.
Now, we're going to go into one more commercial break, but when we come back, I do want to talk about your spiritual practices and stuff like that, because you said you aren't really spiritual, but I think there's something going on there. So we'll be right back after these messages. Don't go away.
No.
Hey, it's your good Judy, JustJack.com. One more commercial and we'll be out of your hair so you can continue the rest of your life. Anywho, we just want to invite you to join our group called the Court of Miracles on Facebook. And you can sign up for that group on JustJack.com with 2 S's, because one just ain't enough. JustJack.com/group. We hope to see you in there, and maybe you get a little blessing. Lots of love. Now let's get back to the show.
Action. We are back with my homegirl, Miss July Angel. And before we went to commercial break, we were talking about your spiritual. Do you consider yourself spiritual?
Honestly, I want to say it's so simple. It's so simple. It's very like sometimes I do pray kind of just like on my own, something quick. Or I like to meditate sometimes. I like to listen to like calm music with nature sounds or the Tibetan like it's like the Tibetan
The gong.
bells. The bell those. And I just maybe take like 3 minutes out of the day and just kind of like, or even just regular music that calms me down. But I like I tell you, I grew up in a very religious household where it was like, Catholic really. So there's a lot of that of repetition and like prayers and all these. It becomes very crowded and like in your head and like you're like, what am I even saying now? But it's there's beautiful things to it. But I think now, so many years later, what's left is like the only thing I can think about it visually is like a little candle with a little flame. That's my spirituality.
Yeah. I have a friend who was on my podcast, Ivy. You guys want to
Yes.
take that? But
Yeah.
Ivy, she said, my existence is spiritual.
Wonderful.
And I feel like that's for all of us because you mentioned prayer and
Yes. Yeah.
prayer is just when you talk to God, thoughts,
Right.
things, right? It's your thoughts and words that go out to the universe that come back to you. And then meditation is just your thinking, your thoughts, your really what I think meditation is that breathing, that breath of life that we take. I read this one book called "For Wherever You Go, I Will Be There With You," or something like that. And it was about how we are constantly in prayer and meditation because even when we're not speaking, something inside of our mind is speaking and running. And our mind, for those of you guys who are in my class for the dimensions, when we work with our mind, the thoughts go to and fro. So to source, back to us. Second dimension into third dimension. I know I just went a bit crazy on that one, but I want you to understand that it's not as airy-fairy and high in the sky. Having a spiritual practice is not what most people make it out to be.
Right.
Religion, that's a whole different concept. And
a whole other world.
I wouldn't be able to talk to you about that because I don't have a religion.
No, yeah.
And I feel like you don't have one either. But
No,
I do believe that you are an angel.
Oh, thank you.
In every sense of the word. Every sense of the word. RuPaul even said that we were spiritual beings having a human experience. And I think what you're doing with your human experience is so beautiful, July Angel. I think it really is. And I am so honored, like I keep saying to you, I'm just so honored to have you here sharing who you are with us and the rest of the world. So thank you, dear.
Jack, you are beautiful. You are a light and you are love and you are an angel also. We are all angels with our own beautiful qualities and colors. And so you are shining bright and what you're doing is beautiful. You are beauty.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Let's ask some empowering questions.
Okay.
Before we end this show.
Yes.
One question is, how do I show love to myself and how do I show love to others?
Okay. I show love to myself by placing my love that I create in my heart, placing my love first to me. And like RuPaul says, quoting RuPaul again, if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love anybody else?
Yeah.
And so always making sure I'm healthy. And now with my transition, it's become like first thing in my mind more than ever. Loving yourself is a journey. I bless those people that are born with, loving themselves right away. But for me, it took taken me my whole life to love myself. And so as I do this, I can give it up, with lots of light to everybody else, lots of love. When I love myself, I can give it to everybody else. That's where it starts. And it means so many things to different people. But for me, loving myself is making sure I'm healthy, making sure I'm doing good at my job. I get enough sleep. I eat the right foods. I'm spiritual and I'm learning. And if I learn, then I grow. Then there's more love.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
We dig for a well that never runs dry. And RuPaul said this, Jennifer Lewis said this on RuPaul's podcast. Learn to love yourself. That way you recognize love when it comes around you.
Yeah.
When we love ourselves, it is easily recognizable, and we give so much of it away.
Yeah.
So much of it came to us first. And I feel like me and you both know what that really feels like, not to love yourself and not to be okay with yourself. So find loving yourself. That's a whole different way of being. You're in a whole different frequency.
Yeah.
At that point.
It's like enlightenment. There's no other word that I can put it.
You explain it. You cannot explain it. Call it enlightenment, call it nirvana. It is something that each individual will have to experience on their own. And that's what I think is so beautiful about loving yourself. Is that you're going to love yourself at a capacity that I may never reach. But I'm going to love myself at a capacity that no one can touch.
Yes. It's so personal and so beautiful.
It is. It's individual. Which also reminds us that, yes, we are individuals, but when you put all of us together, we are part of that one, that collective, that little piece of the puzzle that makes the whole. You're muted, girlfriend. You want to stay muted? You're muted. Oh.
No, I'm fine. No, yes, it's there's a Spanish quote in Spanish. It's so like very popular, but it's la unión hace la fuerza. And so it's like, imagine if we all really loved ourselves, it'll just be a community of love. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go too much into that topic, the topic I'm going to bring up right now, but I felt like before COVID, when I would go out to like bars and nightclubs in Hillcrest, I didn't really see lots of self-love by how people would, at the end, how people would end up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? The intoxications, all the crazy stuff we can see out there. And so I just wish there was more love, what love really means in our community.
Yeah. I wish that we were able to show love to each other. I'm going to say without the bottle, but just now. This is coming from someone who loves booze. I love my booze. I love. No, but I don't love my bottle more than I love myself. And I feel like many people, as queer people, we run to the bottle to search for a certain, to fill a hole that should be filled with love. Does that make sense?
Amen. And that was where I was going at the beginning of my journey.
Who goes to the bar? I'm not.
No. I mean, we'll be back there when it opens up, I'm sure.
That's my favorite place.
Yeah, but it's having that knowledge. It's having that like awareness, like, okay, like, tomorrow morning, it's about balance. It's like tomorrow morning, I'm gonna love myself and we're gonna, drink that water. We're gonna, eat that. It's about balance. It's all about balance.
I want you to meet my Sam, my best friend in the entire world, Sam J. Cortez. Because ever since we were younger, he's always told me, like, the thing is, we knew who we were, so we weren't searching for love in a bottle, in a needle, or in a boy's bed. We were never searching. All of that was a bonus. My friend Sam J. Cortez said this. He said, everybody in the world is looking for their other half, other half, other half. Honey, I don't need another half. I'm a full glass already.
Oh, I love that.
Build ourselves with that love. So anything that comes into our vibrational frequency is just a bonus.
Exactly.
Does all that make sense?
Perfectly.
I hope that makes sense to the listeners.
No. Yeah.
One more question. What kinds of things am I thankful for right now?
I think we can all be thankful for health. All of the listeners, I'm sure, are going to be, amen, very thankful for health. I'm sure it's a recurring answer, but it's an important one. It's health. I find that last year, even though we had a pandemic, a global, pandemic, and everyone, everyone was afraid, but it also made us very, very hyper focused on our health. So it served in that way. I'm very thankful for health right now. I'm thankful for the people I have in my life that I probably didn't really spend much time with before, because we were all kind of just spiraling in a way in the routines. I'm very thankful for what's happening, I guess, just, globally, like how the times have changed from when we were younger. Really, I'm really happy. And even though I wish I would have transitioned earlier, I'm happy I'm doing it now as an adult in 2021, really, because the conversations are different and people are becoming more aware. There's legal protections that we have as queer people, really, as trans, LGBTQ people. We have protections that we probably didn't have 10, 15 years ago. Times are changing. And so that's kind of what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the past, because even though some of us might want to go back and change things, I'm just thankful for what happened, because it's part of the book of life.
It made us, the past, I feel, for me, gave me thick skin.
Yes.
And it really, my past has made me. It's part of my becoming.
Yes.
It's part of our becoming. So cheers to the past, cheers to the present, and cheers to the future.
Yes.
Conversations with people. Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers. Cheers. Well, my angel, thank you so much for coming on once again. I thank you. One more shameless plug do you have the number for that, the youth hotline?
Oh, yes, definitely. Let's get that going.
I'm going to give one more shameless plug. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter at justjack.com with 2 S's, because one just ain't enough. That's JUSSTJACK.com if you're nasty. And the number?
Yes, the LGBTQ youth hotline is 1-866-488-7386. And it's also in my stories that is on my IG page. My Instagram page is 3 underscores, then July Angel, exactly how it sounds. So add me. You have another friend in me, Eunice, and can't wait for all of us just to hang out after this pandemic. and grab a drink and dance. I love dancing. That's what I miss the most. Oh, I miss dancing. I miss our Welfare Wednesdays.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Welfare Wednesdays, for those of you guys listening, we would have $2 cocktails on Wednesday nights.
So fun.
And then you would go to one bar, and then you go over to Rich's, which was the club. So you get your $2 drinks, and then you go to the club and dance it off.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And twerk your booty off. And that's what I miss. I miss like working hard all week and going on Saturday or Wednesday, you know, and it was just fun. And then going to the taco shop after, you know, eat any sort of fries.
I wasn't allowed to go to, what's that one taco shop in Hillcrest where they all go to afterwards?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a small one.
What is it called?
I don't remember what it was called, but I know that's the thing.
They beat up drag queens there. Well, no, these drag queens started throwing tables at each other. There's La Fuente.
La Fuente, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Of drag queens throwing tables and chairs at each other, pulling each other's wigs off and everything. And my aunt tells me, please promise me you will never go to La Fuente. So I don't go to La Fuente.
No. But because we promoted them, or they should give us a free, I don't know, carne asada fries.
Carne asada fry. Or in my case, a free enchilada.
I'm hungry now.
We're going to share July Angel's contact information in the description box wherever this is uploaded. And please subscribe to our newsletter and take advantage of our free download. And please, if you know anybody, share this. You never know who can get a little blessing from this, as Dolly said.
Yes, love and light always.
Amen, child. Amen. Strangers are just friends you haven't met yet.
Beautiful.
Go be friendly with somebody. I'll see you guys later. Lots and lots and lots of love to you. Bye, Felicia.
Bye, girl. Bye, honeybee.
Bye. All right.